bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-dum ba-ba-dum rum bum 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 rum bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-da ba-ba-dum da 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 bum ba-dum bum ba-dum ba-da-dum ba-da-dum da 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 dun da dun dum bum ba-da-dum da 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 dun da dun dum ba-dum ba-da-dum ba-da-dum da 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 dun da dun 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 dun. Hello, my friends. Hello, Mighties, my Joette's Mighty members. Hello, Rumble and YouTube and X. And where else are we? We're at so many places now. It's so good. Hi, Wendy from Scarborough, Ontario. And hi, Paula from Wisconsin. And Venice from Ohio. And Trisha. Hello, everyone. Oklahoma. There. Oh, this is so good. Everyone's coming in. It's wonderful to see you, my friends. Great to see you all. It's Monday night, and my name is Joette Calabrese, and every Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, this is what we do. We meet, and I teach you what I know in homeopathy, and you share amongst yourselves. And for those of you who don't know me, you know now that this is what we do every Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. But for those who do know me, hi, my friends. Great to see you all. Greetings from the little house in the big woods, Fuera Bush, New York. Hi, Ellen. Nice to see everyone. Connecticut and lots of Canadians. It's wonderful to see. But interestingly, we have learned that there are a lot of folks following me, following this method of getting the information out in Poland and in Eastern Europe. And so tonight, because of that, I'm making an assumption that the Europeans are very concerned about proximity to war. So I thought I would talk to you tonight about wartime conditions. Some of them, can't do all of them, obviously. There are so many variables. And how to prepare, what medicines to own. So now I've talked about it a great deal in my course called Survivalist Guide to Homeopathy. And that's what this is. It's pretty heavy. It's very hefty. And I'm going to give to you tonight some information from this. Now, should you be interested in the whole course, then by all means, you go to Joette's Learning Center and scroll down till you find it. And it's very specific. I don't know, my friends, if there's any other book like this or any other course like this anywhere, and I put this together, I still to this day consider this my opus. It came out of, I have to tell you, 9/11. Now, around 9/11, I was in Buffalo, New York, and that's near Niagara Falls, and there was a lot of talk about Niagara Falls being a possible hit because of the electricity that comes from Niagara Falls and how it might affect those of us who were in Western New York. It was just a guess. I mean, everybody has their theories, etc. But it was something that we were pretty concerned about in Buffalo. So a student of mine, who has since become quite a close friend, asked if I would put together something that would be useful as to what medicines we should use. What if there's anthrax being used? What if, or if it's being disseminated or passed around, however they would plan to do something like that. What if there's radiation, etc.? And that's exactly what this covers. But we also have those issues that are not as modern and more in terms of bombs and bullets and fires and those kinds of conditions. So I thought I would go into that tonight and see if I can, cover some issues for you so that even if you don't live in areas that have potential war-torn possibilities, we should all be prepared at all times, whether it's from inclement weather whether it's from catastrophes, a local catastrophe, fires in Canada, fires in California, those kinds of things, or even wars in general. So let's talk about some of these medicines. All right. Hi, everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video, please. Thank you very much, my friends. Please do that. This is how we get the word out. And as you know, I have no sponsors. And I want you to know that you can use my name, however, Joette, when you check out, if you go to Boron, Boiron, if you go to Boron's site to buy your remedies, when you check out, just at the last part of the checkout, if you use my name, Joette, Joette, you will get a discount. So, my whole shtick for doing this on Monday nights, as well as my blog that I put out every Sunday night for the last 13 and a half years, and my podcast that we're starting to represent and start up again, and my etc. Everything that I do is all about informing the home, informing the family, mothers, grandmothers, dads, grandfathers, farmers, people who don't even have children but are taking care of their neighbor or their elderly parent. We need to be self-sufficient. And as you know, beware the Ides of March. I'm not predicting anything. Please don't get me wrong, but just beware. Another way of putting it is gird your loins, my friends. If we know anything, is that we know that something is going to happen. There will be an accident in your home or outside of your home. There will be something that will come down the pike, and you want to not only know which medicine to use, what potency and what frequency, but you want to own the medicines. And the only way to do this is to prepare in advance. So let's talk. Someone in the hospital for second and possibly third degree burns. Now, I have talked about burns on my blog, so you might want to do that, Joette Calabrese Burns, alrighty? But I'm going to start with, I've marked some pages here. You can see my markers there. I want to talk about internal bleeding, because how many incidences, how many conditions could result in internal bleeding? There are plenty of them. So I want you to know how to deal with that. And so it's a hemorrhage of any kind, whether it's internal or whether it actually can be seen, whether it's vaginal or it's in the ears, coming from the ears or the orifice, the mouth, etc. I want you to know this medicine. Now, many of you who've been studying with me for some time can already guess what it might be, but I always think of arnica montana, and hamamelis. So hamamelis 200C is normally the way we use it, mixed with arnica 30. And it's used if it's a severe hemorrhage, you might use it every 15 minutes. If it's not so severe and we're not so sure, it's just a hematoma, it's not actually a hemorrhage, it's a hematoma, or it's a hematoma on the head from a head injury, then we're going to be thinking in terms of maybe a few times a day. But the more severe the condition, and don't take a guess, just know, the more severe the condition, the more frequently we use hamamelis. Yes, if someone could spell this up, put this up, please. Hamamelis, Hamamelis, hamamelis 200C mixed with arnica, that's arnica montana, 30. 2 doses daily or every 15-20 minutes or so, depending on how severe the condition is. Now, is this the only medicine? Absolutely not. When it comes to internal bleeding, it could be arnica by itself, it could be hamamelis mixed with arnica, it could be arsenicum album, it could be apis mellifica. There are many medicines that could deal with this condition, but the first one I want you to know is hamamelis 200 mixed with arnica, and I have to tell you, this is a Banerjee protocol. It's a Banerjee protocol. We have to give them full credit for having come up with this combination. Now, all homeopaths know that if they're hemorrhaging, or if there's hemorrhaging, or if there is a hematoma or internal bleeding of some sort, that we're going to be thinking about hamamelis and arnica. But to put them together in such a tidy fashion as the Banerjees have done for us by mixing a 200 with a 30 combined together. Now, if you don't buy it, if you can't buy it as a combination medicine, no problemo. You simply buy hamamelis 200 and you buy arnica 30, and then you put them in the mouth simultaneously, and now you've got one medicine. That's the combination. Okay? All righty. There are many others. There's ipecac, which is also great for hemorrhaging. There's also lachesis, saccharicor is also good. I'm looking at my bullet points here. And these are all other medicines that can be considered, but I believe that hamamelis arnica is probably one of our first medicines that we should commence treating with. Okay, you've got that? All righty. People are saying what potency. So I've said it a few times, and I think you're all helping each other, which is very good. All right, I'm skipping around. I'm on page 85 of the Survivalist Guide. And so now I'm going to go to page 89. I'm kind of skipping around because I think it's interesting. And there's also arterial bleeding. What if an artery is bleeding? What if there's been an injury and there's an artery that's bleeding? Are we going to think of it any differently? My friends, we're going to think of it in the same fashion. We're going to think of arnica and we're going to think of hamamelis and use it in the same fashion, okay? And so there's also anytime we have any arterial condition, bleeding, which is arterial of sorts, bleeding, hemorrhaging, excessive bleeding, we're going to be thinking of that medicine. All righty? Could that be used for someone on blood thinners and cuts themselves to stop bleeding? Here's the thing. Homeopathy is not the problem. The blood thinner is the problem. So I am not going to tell someone to get off of their blood thinners, and I don't think that's what the question is anyway, but I will tell you, I don't tell people to get off of their drugs. I encourage them to use homeopathy, perhaps in conjunction with their drugs, so that the drug becomes more and more unnecessary. So if somebody's on blood thinners, you might want to study this a little bit more and really know exactly how you're going to go about doing this. But in general, I don't believe that homeopathy do not interfere with drugs, synthetic drugs of commerce, I might add. Synthetic drugs of commerce, interfere with homeopathy. So, all right, that's for hemorrhaging. Let's talk about if someone is in a wartime setting. The other thing that people are concerned about, and I don't blame them, is anxiety. That's exactly why I think we're getting so many folks from Eastern Europe, especially Poland right now, is that following me, is that they have anxiety, they're worried, and I can't blame them. These are anxious times in that part of the world. And all over the world for that matter, but this is especially so. And one of the most valuable medicines for anxiety, especially if there's been an incident where they've observed an atrocity, where they've been shocked by something they've seen or something they've experienced themselves. They had an injury and they've never been well since. They're not sleeping. They have anxiety. The incident doesn't even have to be severe, my friends. It could simply be a fear of something happening. That, my friend, is hello, my dear friends. Tanya, Ellen, Jen. You go. Aconitum. Aconitum. These words, if they're new to you, they are spelled phonetically because they are Latin. Aconitum. 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 Sometimes known as aconite, and I've written about it extensively. This medicine is gorgeous. I've written about it extensively on my blog, but aconitum, and I wouldn't use it in anything other than a 200C. And then it can be used twice a day, about 12 hours apart. Aconitum, 200C, twice a day, 7 in the morning, 7 at night, 7 in the morning, 7 at night. And for how long do we use these medicines, my friends? Yes. We use that. Yes, it's for anxiety. Yes, it's for a fright. Yes, it is. Yes. We use these medicines, including what I already told you about Hamamelis arnica. We use them until they're no longer needed. So in other words, when you see a big shift or a decent shift, doesn't even have to be grand, you see enough of a shift and the person says, they're pacing, they're worried, they're freaking, they're having nightmares, they're not able to sleep, they're nervous, and you don't see that behavior anymore after having used aconitum 200C twice a day for, say, even just a few days. You see that melting away, my friends. You have just until much improved. That's right, Angela. Until the symptoms go away, says Jen. Until very much better, says Tina. Beautiful. I love working with you folks. It's like you're my people. It's just a beautiful thing. So once we see that the medicine is acting and when it comes to an acute situation, these are acutes that I'm talking about now, okay? That's what we're talking about tonight, acutes. These are not chronic situations. These are acutes, even though they might last for some time. It came up on its, in a short order. It became a noteworthy condition. Then what we're going to do is use it only until it is no longer needed. It's no longer needed. How about stramonium, asks Jan. Yeah, stramonium is another good one. Stramonium is also for extreme, that shock, having observed an atrocity. Stramonium is also very good, but stramonium acts differently in people. The shock is the same as it is for when we would use aconitum. But for stramonium, the difference is they present differently. In aconitum, when a person needs aconitum, they are anxious, and it's obvious. When someone needs stramonium, they may have witnessed an atrocity, but instead of showing that way, they show their imbalance through violence. Now, they may not become violent themselves, though that can happen as well. But they might, if it's a child, they might play their games in a much greater violent way. So instead of the dolls in the carriage, after a child has been shocked by a frightening event, such as seeing an atrocity of a neighbor or a beloved pet that was just harmed by war or etc. Now the doll is going to be violent towards the doll, or her brother might be violent towards. That's what we're talking about. The play that the child works out becomes violent, or they might hit their sibling, or they might hit others, and you're thinking to yourself, for crying out loud, this child has seen so many atrocities, and yet here they go, they're perpetrating atrocities themselves. Well, the reason is because they can't come out of that difficult psychological imbalance, and so that's when we need stramonium 200C, used in the same fashion as what I just told you about with aconitum. Now, if you want to know more, you go to Joette Calabrese stramonium, and you will learn more about it, and it will flesh it out for you even better. With fireworks as often as 10 minutes apart until better on the 4th, I go for drive in the country. It's a war zone where I live. I'm not sure I know what you mean, Jody. So I'm happy to, let's see, what about ocular degeneration? Is the protocol curative or just stops degeneration? Some medicines are absolutely 100% curative. And so in some people, they're absolutely curative. And in other people, it brings it down to more of a whisper instead of a scream. So how far do these medicines go? We don't know. I'm not going to tell you that they are 100%. I will never tell you that. There's no such thing as that. But I will tell you that in some people, we see that with aconitum, the anxiety is gone. It's aborted. It's done. It's over. With stramonium, the outward expression through violence in their own fashion is gone. We do see that, but sometimes we see someplace closer to not being nearly as severe, closer to it, at least not progressing, slowing it down a little bit. So it all depends. And what does it depend upon? It's hard to say. I used to think that it would depend upon the age of the person, but I don't believe that any longer. I used to believe that it was dependent upon the drugs that they're taking. I don't believe that any longer. What I see is I often say, well, this is going to be an easy case. Just give this person aconitum 200 and it will take care of all of that anxiety, when indeed for that particular person it seemed very obvious, but then again, it only took care of half of it, and so we had to move on and go to another medicine. All righty. My family is very sensitive, and homeopathy will stop things in its tracks. Stramonium for birth trauma, that certainly is a possibility. But you know what I like for birth trauma, my friends? If the baby is still under a year old, aconitum 200, one dose only. One dose only, 1 day only. Stop. As soon as you recognize that it needs to be used, one dose, 1 day. All righty. Now let's talk about something. We've got 10 minutes, and I'm talking really quickly because I want to make sure that I get as much as I possibly can get in here tonight. How about sepsis? If someone lives in a war-torn country and buildings are being destroyed and bullets are flying, and injuries are accumulating, and people are suffering physical injuries, broken bones, lacerations, bullet wounds, shrapnel. I don't have to go through all of it with you. You get the picture. I want you to know what you should use for sepsis, meaning a septic infection, meaning perhaps the water is not good enough to wash the area. And also, we're always going to clean the area as thoroughly as possible. Sepsis usually doesn't, if it's from the outside, if it's an extrinsic injury from the outside, and there's a laceration, for example, that needs to be cleaned very thoroughly. That's where sepsis begins. Now, sepsis can also begin internally. If there was a surgical procedure, for example, and a bacteria set up, then by all means, gunpowder. Oh, I love it. You're so good, Susie. You're so good, Christina. Yeah, gunpowder, pyrogenium, all very, very good. But I'm going to get a calendula tincture. You are right on the mark, my friends. Noreen, you've got it. But I'm going to give you one other one. Those are all good. Pyrogenium, gunpowder, pyrogenium 200, gunpowder 30 or 200, and you use it frequently. But I also want to give you a Banerjee protocol, and that is, anybody know what the Banerjee protocol is? Here we go. Tanya knows it. Hypericum 200, mixed with arsenicum 200. Banerjee protocol. It's a beautiful thing. Hello from Western New York. Gunpowder for the bone. Yes. Very good, very good. Arsenicum, gunpowder symphytum, says Jennifer. You guys are on it. You are, yes, calendula tincture. You are so on it. I love you folks. I love it. Oh, also, Banerjee protocol is awesome, but also Ambergrissia 30C once a day, good if chronic stress for post-traumatic stress disorder. That's back to the previous discussion a few minutes ago. But yes, absolutely. Ambergrissia. Ambergrissia is a great medicine for when aconitum, ignatia, arsenicum. Don't act to calm someone down for anxiety. I love Ambergrissia. Ambergrissia, 2 words. Replying to, let's see what else we've got. Gunpowder for the bone, yes. Helios C-seps. Yes, Melissa, thank you for mentioning that. Helios, should you not know where to, you can buy from Boron. They're in the U.S. and of course they're all over the world. But if you can't find a particular medicine that's a little more difficult to find, or that Boron doesn't carry, or does Washington Homeopathics, I'm giving you all the pharmacies that I'm accustomed to using in the U.S., or Hahnemann Pharmacy in California, or who am I missing now? OHM Pharma, who I work very closely with for my students and clients. Then do consider Helios in England by all means. Helios, Helios. And don't think for a second that you won't be able to get their medicines, or it'll take longer because it's going over the pond, because they are pretty fast. They get remedies to you pretty darned quickly. And so they have a medicine called C-seps. C meaning, let's see, what would it stand for? C such as in cute, not acute, but cute, hyphen seps, S-E-P-S. C hyphen seps is also awesome. I know many people have reported that it's been useful. Of course it is, because it's got hepar sulf, pyrogenium, and gunpowder, all mixed together. Yes, very good. Oh my gosh, you folks have so got it. Let's see what else we've got here in our other combo. Yeah, it's a combination. It's a combination. Combo means combination. I found a great place, Family Care Homeopathy in UK. They make almost anything, and the remedies are legit. Good. Very good to hear that. As long as the remedies are legitimate. I urge you, my friends, don't buy from a site where they manufacture the remedies on a machine. That's not homeopathy. I don't know what it is, but it's not homeopathy. I'm not going to tell you it would never work, but I'm going to tell you that if you want the genuine, the real medicine, then go for the creme de la creme. These medicines are not very expensive, so don't save a buck and then take a chance, okay? All right. I'm loving this, talking with people who get homeopathy instead of questioning it. Good for my soul. Isn't it, Jen? Isn't it? It's good for the soul. Yeah, absolutely. What about taproots for remedies? I'm not familiar. I mean, I kind of know about them, but in Canada, boron in Canada. Boron, B-O-I-R-O-N in Canada. And also, you can certainly buy from Helios. And in Canada, Thompson's on Yonge Street. I've purchased from them for years. I think they're still there. Let's see what else we've got. Thompson. Yeah, Thompson. Replying to Joanne. Yes. Is cellulitis a form of sepsis? Yes, it is. Cellulitis. Yep. Taproots is good. Can you help me with some medicine? Okay, Taproots is awesome. They have a ton of selections and can order from the UK. Excellent. How about OHM? Excellent. I know them personally. I do a lot of work with them. I think they're 1 in a million. Canada also has Homeocan from Quebec. Yeah, very good. I love that you're helping each other. It is good for the soul. And my friends, do think about teaching. And what I mean by that is, if you go to Joette's Learning Center and you go down to the gateway classes where you can teach, or you can join a class that's being taught. You can either teach a class of your own friends, either whether they're local or brick and mortar, or online if you have a connection to folks online. When you teach these courses, not only can you make a living, I know a number of people who do, including myself many years ago. Not only can you do that, but you're going to learn a lot, a real lot. So, and you're going to be around people who are interested in everything you say about this. So here we go. Thompson's moved from Yonge Street to 239 Wallace Avenue in Toronto. Yeah, good. Thank you for sharing that with us, Wendy. It's very good. Helios is awesome. Good. Yeah, and the prices are good. I love my gateway good, says Susie. Yeah, listen, my friends, if you are interested in meeting up with other people, and it's not just Monday nights like this, join a gateway study group. And again, you go to Joette's Learning Center, click on it, and you can find out when, if you just contact my office. Eileen is there Tuesday through Saturdays, and she helps people join groups that have already begun, or she'll even help you kind of get started and how to get started in running your own group. And then you may even charge for your time, and that's how you make a little living. Okay. Shout out to study group teachers Kathy Diaz and Wendy Skinner. You bet. Thank you, Laurie, for saying that. I'm still looking for a group. This is a good place to look, my friend, but also check out Joette's Learning Center and go and scroll down till you see the gateway. Yeah, some from your gateway groups may end up being your most valued and treasured friends. Happened to ours. My friends, this is how the gateway is awesome, says Cindy. Kathy Diaz is awesome, says R.N. Walsh. You bet. Let me tell you that is how I got started in homeopathy before I ever even considered becoming a homeopath. I was in a group and we met every Thursday night for 4 years in my living room and then sometimes in others' living rooms. And it was here you go. Some people are talking about at Wendy Skinner, Great Gateway 1 group. Yes, Melissa Crenshaw is great for classes too. Thank you for the reminder about the groups. I'll check it out, says Jen. Yes, I will tell you, these friends of mine, when we started this group back in the 80s, I think it was 87, maybe 88. I'm still friends with some of these ladies, and I'm still in touch with them all these years. A couple of them became homeopaths like I did. One is a midwife. Another one is a physical therapist. I mean, it's really excellent. It's excellent. You can call my helpline and check it out. And then you certainly get discounts. Does anyone do a Great Way 2 group? Yes, absolutely. Do check that out. Hello from Western New York. Yes, we do. There are Gateway 1 and Gateway 2. And I urge you, my friends, don't stop at Gateway 1. Gateway 2 is set up specifically, is designed for you to carry on so that you can learn even more. Homeopathy is a vast subject. Why? Because human health is a vast subject. We only touched on a few remedies for acutes tonight. Only a few. And so what about tetanus? I'll leave you with one more. On page 94 of my survivalist guide. There are a number of medicines that could be used to protect against the possibility of an infection, a bacterial infection, such as from a great puncture wound. And Leadum 200, and I've written about this with the Weston Price Foundation. If you do Joette Calabrese and Leadum, you will likely find it. Leadum 200 and wound cleanliness. It was always about cleaning the wound and making sure that no debris remains behind, and the limb or the hand or whatever it might be needs to be plunged and kept in warm water with a little calendula, and all of that is discussed right here in my survivalist guide. Leadum 200, and also Hyper Rs, the Banerjee protocol, Hyper Rs, Hypericum 200 with Arsenicum 200. And so tonight I will leave you with that, my friends. Next week we'll have another interesting session, and I look forward to seeing you all. God bless you. Happy spring. Bye now.
With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. My family needs me, so I must know our remedies. How much to take, how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. Athusinodaria, it's elementary with arnica head, arsenicum fed, spigelia slither, orms from wither, no more infirm. My family needs me, so I improve my memory. Not only the rems, but how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With your homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies. Belisol red and arnica head, drosera bark, ignatia dark, source of frigid and cuprum to rigid, and crude itches, calica barnicum, let it melt on your gum, bovis to wheat are some great ways to treat ya. La 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 la, homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. My family needs me, so I must know our remedies. How much to take, how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. Athusinodaria, it's elementary with arnica head, arsenicum fed, spigelia slither, orms from wither, no more infirm. My family needs me, so I improve my memory. Not only the rems, but how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With your homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies. Belisol red and arnica hydrocera bark, ignatia dark, source of frigid and cuprum to rigid, and crude itches, calicum, barnicum, let it melt on your gumbo, vista weed are some great ways to treat ya. La 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 la, homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies.